Hello, it's Doug from Behind Closed Doors, and today I'm looking at Andrew Tate defends himself against Piers Morgan. Let's get into the video.
Andrew Tate's the most famous man you've probably never heard of.
Alright, let's just hold it right there. Andrew Tate is the most famous man you've probably never heard of. Well, looking at this video now, it was uploaded like a day ago and it's already got over 1 million views. Now if we go over to Piers Morgan's Uncensored YouTube channel and search by most popular, his 3 most popular videos were Jordan Peterson from a week ago, which has 3 million views. So Jordan Peterson's video took 7 days to accumulate 3 million views. This video that he's uploaded of Andrew Tate has taken 1 day and has accumulated 1 million. And this is just a preview. So Tate's full interview with Piers Morgan will probably be his most highest viewed video. That's a prediction I'm going to make. So how can somebody be the most famous person that you've never heard of? Because by definition, fame is people hearing about them, no?
Andrew Tate's the most famous man you've probably never heard of, but the chances are your children will have videos of Tate.
But the chances are that your children will have. So are children watching your programme then, Piers Morgan? Is that what your main demographic audience is? Children?
Been viewed billions of times online. He's built an enormous following of mostly young men, and is.
Well, it's not mostly young men. I mean, if you go online, you can see loads of videos where women and girls are talking about Andrew Tate in a flattering and non-flattering way, but they're still talking about him because what he's saying, the topics that he's talking about, are actually relevant to young people, other than the topics that are spoken about on these kind of programs by mainstream media.
An enormous following of mostly young men, and his often scandalous views about women that have made him notorious across the world. Views like this.
So I think my sister is her husband's property, yes. When a bride is walking down the aisle to marry the groom, the father walks next to her and gives her away. True or false?
Tate's opinions on mental illness are equally controversial.
Well, Tate's opinion on me drinking water is controversial because he prefers sparkling water. And usually I do drink sparkling water, actually. But I'm out of it today. So today I'm having a pint of tap water with ice in. Broke boy water. Brokies.
I don't believe in depression. Don't message me about depression because I don't believe in it. If you're asleep in your bed in the middle of the night and you hear a noise and you believe in ghosts, now you're afraid. But if you don't believe in ghosts, it's the wind and you go back to sleep. You give the ghosts power by believing in them.
Yeah, the old depression thing, I've spoken about this as well, and there's several books been written on it by psychiatrists and stuff called like The Myth of Mental Illness and The Manufacture of Madness and The Therapeutic State, and Psychiatry, The Science of Lies, Myth of Psychotherapy, The Medicalization of Everyday Life. So I'm not going to get into the whole depression isn't real thing, that's another video for another time.
Well, this summer, every major social media platform banned Tate amid a global backlash and concerns about his influence on the young people who watch him. But copies of his videos are still shared millions of times every day. This show is called Uncensored. One of the challenges views directly, so he flew from Romania to sit here in this studio, and the full explosive interview airs later this week. Here's a bit of what's to come. Do you respect women?
Absolutely. Why wouldn't I?
Do you think that 18, 19-year-old women are more attractive than 20?
So why wouldn't he? Piers doesn't answer the question.
That 18, 19-year-old women are more attractive than 25-year-old women?
I think there's attractive people. That's a loaded question. I don't know.
Well, it's not really, is it?
Well, yeah, it is, and you should know that it's a loaded question because attraction isn't unidimensional based on age.
I can't.
You know why I'm asking it?
Of course I do, but I can't sit here and
for
say.
the benefit of viewers who don't know why I'm asking, you said this. In general, this is also one of the reasons men find youth attractive.
Yeah, men do find youth attractive. Breaking news. And nature finds youth attractive, which is why it tends to make younger women more fertile. Older women that have been through the menopause tend to have trouble conceiving.
You want to blow up the internet? I'll blow up the internet right effing now. The reason 18 and 19-year-olds are more attractive than 25-year-olds is because they've been through less dick.
Well, it depends which girl you're talking about, but generally speaking, which is what he preferenced at the beginning of his statement by the sounds of it, yeah, they've been through less dick. Yeah, virginity in the majority of cultures, apart from the current West, is valued. Generally speaking, Piers, what happens is when a woman's a teenager, she has less sexual partners than when she's, say, a 40-year-old woman. How is it possible that a woman has less sexual partners at the age of 40 than she does at, say, 20? She can't have less. It's just not possible.
People say, oh, you can't say that, but yes, I can. A 19-year-old is more attractive than a 26-year-old woman, and I'll tell you why. Because that 26-year-old has talked to more guys, been to the club more times, been effed and dumped more times, more arguments, more mess, more for me to clean up.
It's not just the sex thing. It's like their soul has often been corrupted, or they've had children, which makes them less valuable. There's loads of reasons as to why older women are less valuable than younger women as a sexual partner.
That is misogyny.
Why?
Because you are encouraging a mindset about 25-year-old women that makes them sound out to be infinitely less desirable than 18, 19-year-olds.
It's a good thing he's not interviewing Leonardo DiCaprio, because he's got a graph where he's never dated anybody above the age of 25. Leo knows.
Because you are encouraging a mindset about 25-year-old women that makes them sound out to be infinitely less desirable than 18, 19-year-olds.
Well, I think feminists are less desirable. So you could have a 25-year-old virgin, I suppose, but in the West, where feminism is promoted and sex before marriage is a huge thing, well, a woman's peak sexual market value, I believe, peaks around the age of 20, and then it declines from there on in. Whereas a man's sexual market value tends to increase over time. It takes them a while to accumulate it. So men and women, when we're talking about sexual market value, peak at different stages of their life. It takes men a longer time, usually 10 to 15 years, for boys to turn into men and to establish a gravitas of having all the things in their lifestyle and being all those things that women find naturally attractive. Men are attracted to younger women, and younger women are attracted to older men. It's usually about 4 to 5 years age difference. Also, women are attracted to taller men, about 4 to 5 inches taller. So men and women have different sexual market value preferences, and that's okay.
19-year-olds, and having effectively been having too much sex to be taken in a more respectful way.
Well, firstly, even if that was the case, that wouldn't be misogyny.
But what did you mean by what you said?
That's not misogyny because it's not anti-women. I'm saying that an 18 or a 19-year-old woman would be more desirable.
Pretty anti-25-year-old woman.
Anti-25-year-old women, we can argue.
Well, so you could say it's ageist as opposed to sexist. It's like when they say about the wage gap. Oh, women get paid less than men. Well, when you look at it, it's a load of bollocks, isn't it? It's an age thing. If you go on the government website, people that are younger get paid less than people that are older, just based purely on age, whether they're man or woman. Younger people get paid less. Minimum wage by law. So it's an age thing, it's not a sex thing. And the older a woman gets, the closer that she gets to the menopause, the less fertile she's going to be. She has less eggs available. So the ability for women to get pregnant, they release an egg every month, and they're born with so many eggs, and every year that passes, more eggs have been released. Women don't produce new eggs. They're born with all the eggs they're ever going to have. So over time, they have less and less opportunity to get pregnant and reproduce. So that's why men aren't as attracted to older women, because it's all instantiated in nature. But for this feminist equality thing, nature isn't allowed to exist, time isn't allowed to exist, the difference between men and women isn't allowed to exist. It's crazy.
No, it's not.
Well, being anti any woman at all is misogyny.
Being anti any woman at all is misogyny. Come on, Piers, shut the fuck up. This woman that cut her husband's dick off with a kitchen knife is wrong. That's wrong behaviour. But to say that that's wrong behaviour doesn't make me misogynist. But if you think Baby P's mum was wrong, then you're misogynistic, you fucking dickhead. If you disagree with anything a woman does, that's misogyny. This is very reminiscent of the Kathy Newman-Jordan Peterson interview. Very reminiscent, because Piers Morgan, the same as Kathy Newman, is fighting on behalf of the feminists and women's rights and all this kind of shit. And you can't say anything bad about women, and you can't... And, you know, Andrew's coming in the same way Jordan's saying is it's not that simple.
Any woman at all is misogyny.
Not when I'm saying that women are beautiful and attractive at a certain age and saying that age.
You're saying 18, 19-year-olds are more attractive than 25.
Well, than ageist, perhaps, but misogynistic, absolutely
Is that
not.
what? But you just accepted it was misogyny.
No, I didn't. You said it was misogyny. I'm telling you, no, it's not.
If a 26-year-old woman is watching this and has heard those comments,
Yeah.
would you just say to her, look, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that?
No, I won't. I will say that
This is what they want you to do. They want you to plead, grovel, apologise, get on your fucking knees. Fuck off, Piers. You see, it's interesting as well. It's like Piers Morgan was a better interviewer in the Jordan Peterson one. And from that, what I remember, the reason why he was better is because he took advice from his son, I believe, if I remember correctly. And his son basically said, Dad, shut the fuck up and just let Jordan talk. That's great advice for if you're interviewing someone. Because again, I think Piers Morgan actually thinks that people care about what he thinks, and they don't. They care about the people that he interviews, what they think about. So the best thing that Piers Morgan can do is ask intelligent questions and shut the fuck up and allow somebody to answer them. But he doesn't. He goes in with this whole, again, this Kathy Newman style where he gets wound up, doesn't he? And he just keeps cutting people off and trying to, change what they're saying. So what you're saying is this, it's just not as good of an interview. It will get more views because it's more combative and negativity gets more attention, but it's a shame that he can't interview Andrew here with the same professionalism that he did with Jordan Peterson, for example, the other week.
Look, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
No, I won't. I will say that I am sorry that offends you. However, there's a large contingent of the world.
That doesn't mean you're sorry.
No, I'm not sorry. That's the point I'm making. I'm sorry.
See, look, you can't let him finish a sentence. Because he's just, look at his face, he's so angry.
No, I'm not sorry. That's the point I'm making. I'm sorry if that offends you. However, there's a large contingent of the world that believe that, and I was mediating for a conversation.
Parts of the world that believe that about 26-year-old women are parts of the world where women are not allowed out on their own.
Well, I've heard Andrew say since he's become really famous, he has to go out with security because he can't go out on his own. Because, he's got a Bugatti and all this, he's rich, he's getting famous, so people are more likely to rob him. So he can't even go out on his own, and he's a 6-foot millionaire kickboxing world champion. He can't go out on his own.
That's a conversation.
They have to wear full burqas.
Well, that's a conversation.
They're not allowed to drive cars.
That's nothing to do with me.
But is that the kind of world for a woman that you?
I was mediating a conversation.
No, I'm asking you what you think.
No, he's talking about sexual attraction, isn't he? What Andrew's talking about is he's talking about natural, subjective sexual attraction. If you go out with a 40-year-old slut that's had 1,000 dicks in her, she's less attractive than a 19-year-old virgin. It's just his personal preference as a man. That's what he's talking about.
I don't live in a country where that happens.
You're using that as the excuse for why you're not sorry for saying it.
It's not an excuse.
Is that there are parts of the world where this is fine.
My friend.
So my question to you is, well, do you think it's fine?
You see, he can't just let him answer the questions. He has to keep doing all that shit with his words.
I don't think it's fine. I live in a world where...
You don't think it's fine?
Shut the fuck up, Piers.
It's fine.
The reason
This isn't that hard, Andrew. You can simply say, Piers, you know what? With the benefit of hindsight, I wish I hadn't said it like that. And if a 26-year-old woman's watching, I'm sorry I said that, because that actually is blatantly misogynist. And even though that's a view held by other
Andrew, don't give in. Don't say it, mate.
parts of the world, it's not a view I share. Now, I would respect you more if you said that than if you try and say, well, it's said in other parts of the world, so I'm not sorry.
I think
That doesn't tell me what you think.
Shut the fuck up, Piers.
Then you need to understand why my content existed in the first place. My content existed because I tried my very hardest to be an absolute and utter realist, especially with uncomfortable truths. I was pointing out that very uncomfortable...
Is that a truth, then?
It's an uncomfortable truth in many parts of the world. It's not a truth that I'm happy about.
Yeah, they kind of refer to it as red pill.
Inquest this week found that a 14-year-old girl, Molly Russell, died from an act of self-harm while suffering from depression and the negative effects of online content. The coroner said she was exposed to material that may have influenced her in a negative way, and in addition, what started as depression and become a much more serious depressive illness, and she very sadly took her life.
That's absolutely disgusting.
Right. Her father...
It's terrible.
Her father's campaign for bail.
Yeah, there have been girls as well that kill themselves because they don't get enough likes on Facebook and things like that. It's, social media and caring about what other people think about you is a really big problem. But even before social media, girls were self-harming and killing themselves because of bullies at school. Everyone blames this social media thing, and there is a huge part of it, but it's not the only part.
Campaign for better protections against potentially dangerous social media algorithms, right? It says that the particularly graphic content she saw romanticized acts of self-harm, normalized her condition, and focused on a limited and irrational view without any counterbalance of normality.
That is so sad.
First of all, what is your response to that? Nothing to do with you. That's
the first thing. Yeah, it is nothing to do with me. The fact that a 14-year-old girl took her life is truly sad. The world we live in today is The world we live in, the fact that something like that happened is almost mind-blowing to me. That's true.
And men kill themselves because they can't get laid. And the other thing is you have school shootings as well, and they go and kill other people. So it's the thing about it is it's just so avoidable. A lot of the time people just need care and attention and guidance. And it's just so sad.
That's truly sad. I actually feel sad inside to see something like that.
What has come clear to me in the interview is that a lot of things you say you wouldn't say now that you've said before.
But I'd say them differently, perhaps.
Yeah, right. So to me, that's an acceptance, not just that you want to get back on platforms, because maybe that was one of the reasons you were no platform, but that you've recognized and understood the potential harm to the wrong kind of impressionable mind.
Piers is trying to straddle what happened to this young girl to something that Andrew Tate said. He's trying to, as if they're the same thing.
By some of the things you've said. Would that be fair?
I think that's 80% fair. I recognize and understand that with massive fame, you have to be more careful about being misconstrued, like I said earlier.
You can't avoid it. I mean, you look at someone like Jordan Peterson, he's the most down the line, middle, straight guy you can get. He's got his foot firmly in order and chaos, firmly on the left and the right, firmly on whatever political stance you take. And he's a very fair, level-headed, well-articulated, educated, experienced professor of clinical psychology. And even you take someone like Jordan Peterson, and if he cries or something, but even if you take Jordan Peterson, who's so well-spoken, they'll just destroy him anyway. They'll just change the story. They'll change the intention of what he meant by something. So even if you are precise in your speech, it doesn't matter. Who you are doesn't matter. They'll just change the story of who you are and what you mean by what you say.
Like I said earlier, 1% of people misunderstanding you doesn't matter with a small audience. It matters with a very large audience. With power comes responsibility. I still believe the things I say. I do not want to be a negative force for the world. I also understand that I am a man who's lived a very difficult, nuanced life, and I am capable of making nuanced points that may be misunderstood by teenagers. However, that can be said about anybody and everything. Every opinion online can be misunderstood by children. Trying to protect children from the internet is a very interesting subject in and of itself, because I would argue that 80% of the content on the internet can be negative or detrimental to a young mind that doesn't understand the world.
I agree. Yeah, I can't wait to watch the full interview. It looks very interesting.
Hello, my name is Doug and I've created a video tutorial called What to Message a Girl for Online Dating Success. The reason why I've created this product is to help those men out there who are dating online but are not getting the replies or getting the dates that they desire. My product will teach you what to message a girl, what not to message a girl, when to message a girl, how to respond when you're not sure what to write, what to do if she doesn't reply, how to get her phone number, and how to communicate to get online dating success. If you're getting matches and no success, this product is for you. It's what you need to do today to start getting success with your matches. I'll also be talking about other issues such as how to spot red flags, identify time wasters, to stay out the friend zone, how to deal with ghosting, simmering and icing. Not only will I be giving you exactly what you need, copy and paste, I'll also be explaining to you the reason why I'm writing what I'm writing so you can understand the psychology and know what behaviours to look out for and which ones to avoid. This product is packed with value. I've tried to cram as much as I can into a short amount of time as possible while being the most informative. If you're a man and you're confused and frustrated with what to text with online dating, this product is the solution for you to get more dates in less time. Click the link in the description box below to buy the product and change your dating life forever.